What up, though? Welcome to another hot episode of Pop Radio. My name is Miss Cosmo, rolling with my main man, Moochie for one, baby, what it is.
What's happening, beautiful people? Thank you for joining us today. How you living?
Good, man. I'm in a good mood, you know. We are hanging out with, Free State's finest.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah,
there's not that many fine people in the Free State, so he's maybe the only one.
Well, Free State, you just found out it's Durban's finest now.
My Free State people will kill me. Don't say that.
It's Durban's finest now because I had no idea he lives in Durban. But that's also just another chat for another day. How you doing, Prince Kaybee?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, man. Good to see you in person. I haven't seen you in a very long time.
Yeah.
But also just good to chat, to catch up, to find out a little bit more about the music. You don't really do a lot of interviews.
No, I don't.
Why?
Because I like you. I did this one.
Huh?
No, I don't sabi anything.
No, Prince Kaybee can't be anything.
Oh, you've got
that
things
I can tell you.
Yeah, please.
Because although he doesn't do a lot of interviews, I know he's very opinionated.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is maybe about DJs that usually they're very reserved. A lot of DJs don't talk too much, or at least online or whatever. But I know Prince Kaybee is right there with the people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna tag him, he's gonna tag you back.
Yeah.
If you're gonna ask him a question, he might probably answer you. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like that's your interview, or that's where people get to know you and exactly what's going on?
Yeah, because I'm always speaking my mind. Funny enough, Keenan, may his soul rest in peace. He once called me and said, "And like when you're a hip hop artist."
Yeah, you're just like him.
You know, so that's the thing about it. It's not really interviews. It's just I like sharing. You know, when someone asks me something, I'll answer you. I don't see why not.
It seems like you've also just got a lot of time for your fans and time for people when they ask you questions, which most people don't actually do. They just mize and they say, "Hello, young telela." So now mabak telela, you telela back, and then when they ask questions, they.
But I'm more reserved now. Back in the day, I used to be crazy, but no, I don't know.
What changed?
You become a father and you become older. Besides being a father, like people grow.
Yeah. So Sibonga Guti, you decided, let me change my life because you became a father.
No.
Otherwise, we'd still get the crazy guy right now.
No, it depends on the podcast as well. What you're asking me, what kind of people you are. I just regulate according to that.
I see it because I think online, things can get tiring. I can understand.
Yeah, it gets hectic.
Only when you join, when you're new, do you have full energy for it? You know what I'm saying? When you're new, like when you start joining Twitter and whatever, you kind of have the energy of like, what did you say? Yeah, I can talk as well. Yeah, so I can talk if you're into having conversations and going back and forth. But if you've been on it for years, after a while, it's king and like,
yeah,
do you know, I literally
you pick your conversations a lot more. Some days you like actually just talk. It's fine.
Yeah, I actually just log on and I read everybody else's bullshit and I laugh where I need to laugh and then I log out. I'm probably the worst person to follow, but
Yeah, but also it depends how you grew up. I grew up in a I think everyone used to say if someone outwardly go back and hit them back.
All right.
So yeah, that's how I grew up. So for someone to walk over me, I find it very weak.
So you've never been bullied at all in your life, like even when you were younger?
I've been bullied, but I bully back. So
good see my life.
Even at school, you bully back the bully. And you make it even better for everyone else that's been bullied. Because you see, this bully is actually weak. Yeah, so you need to bully back the bully.
Do you ever look at somebody getting, I don't call it dragged, but let's call it dragged on Twitter. Do you ever look at somebody on Twitter getting cooked? Getting cooked. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's Miss Cosmo. Yeah, maybe you see Miss Cosmo getting cooked.
You're catching on now.
But that person is like your friend. Or somebody that you like, or you know what I'm saying? It could be a industry friend, like I said. It could be Miss Cosmo, or it could be anybody else. You see them getting cooked, and you're just like,
No, I get it.
It's just your day, my boy.
My hands dirty. No, they've cooked Donald. I've been there. They've cooked Heavy K. I've been in there. They've cooked who? Dr. Malinga.
Kenya, or you the one who inserts yourself?
No, I insert myself. Because it's my friend.
Why would you do that?
Like, I find a lot of things very unwarranted for people. Like, it's very unfair. Some of the things that I've been in where I see my friends getting cooked, it's very unfair cooking session. So I want to go in there and diffuse it. And even if it doesn't get diffused, but I was there for you,
Okay. Oh, Shem. So at least you're a good friend.
Yeah, I'm a good friend.
Over and above being a bully.
Yeah.
Okay, we see you. But okay, let's kind of get back into the music.
Yeah.
And the growing up in the Free State, obviously there's not a lot of resources. There's not a lot of people that you can kind of reach out to say, yo, let me work on this with you, let me do that. How did you get yourself into the music industry from the Free States and then kind of make the decisions you did to make your first hit?
Obviously when you start, it's all about the music. You don't really you're not really aware of other moving parts, like, okay, I need to do an interview, this is how I need to speak, this is how I need to dress, or whatever the case. It's just about the music. So all I did back in the day is just do music. I didn't know where it's going to go. We had something called can I get into it now? It's a online platform where we share free music.
Data file host.
Data file host. That's all I knew. Like put your stuff there, and then someone will hear it somewhere. And I heard about this SABC 1s and 2s show. Yeah, and then I got into that, and everything opened from there.
Was your goal back then, you're from Bloemfontein, is it Bloem directly?
Bloem.
Bloem, right?
Yeah, I was in Bloem.
And I mean, the one thing I knew about Bloem when I first moved from Joburg from the Northwest was, gotta go to Makufe.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Was when you're getting into music, you're thinking, I mean, around here, they'll know I made it when I'm getting booked. Kumakufi. Before I got Josie or anything, you have dreams of like, this is where I got to start back home. And then it just happened another way? Not
really. I've never been a fan of Makufi because of the culture.
What do you mean?
It has never emphasized DJs, right?
Okay.
I'm more of a purist when it comes to what I do. So the culture, the stage, how the sound sounds, what you're trying to portray as a story with your set and so forth. It's never really what Makufi stands for. Makufa is like, everyone come, we have the biggest artists, Deborah Cox or whoever comes from
she's back again.
Whoever comes from wherever, and you get like some jazz musicians and whatever, and also the stage, like it's not DJ specific.
Yeah, it's performers.
The DJ booth is there in the corner, no one really cares, so usually when I go to shows on my tech rider, I must have a moving stage. I must come in the center of the stage. I need to play so that the intimacy is more valid to me. It's very invalid when I'm there in the corner having your drink. You can't really hear what I'm doing or see.
I'm very curious now that you're mentioning your tech rider, because everybody knows, like, you can have that on your tech. You can send your tech rider even a month before a gig, and you'll say, these are the things that I want, this is what we need to put together, and then you'll get to the gig and then they've got 350s and a mixer, and life is just life, because we're in South Africa at the end of the day. I understand what you're trying to create.
Yeah, of course.
But at the end of the day, we're in South Africa. So do you continue with the gig, or do you say, look, you didn't abide by the contract, so I'm out?
I mean, there's a lot of things to consider. The most important one is the fans. It's very unprofessional to get on stage and everyone's like, oh my God, he's going to play. And then you go back. Like, arrogant.
Yeah.
Now you trend the next day. They don't care that the promoter did. They don't care what your tech rider says. So I try to consider that, and I just go in. I remember now that you're mentioning 350s. There was one on the left, and then the one on the right couldn't read my memory sticks. Right? And there wasn't, 350s don't link.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a laptop. So what I did is I took the laptop, connected to the mixer. So I was mixing with a laptop and a 350, and it was ridiculous. But the people were there for the music, and but that's back in the day. Now it depends where you are in your life.
Yeah.
I used to do that. I don't do that anymore.
It depends where you are in your life.
Yeah, it depends where you are in your life. When I see 350s, I'm like, hey, askis abuti. Yeah, I don't even show my face. Like, I tell my manager to go check what's going on. Yeah.
That's mad trauma.
Because if they see you on stage, but come on, Prince Kaybee.
But what pop? Obviously, the Russia equipment that run out here speed. So they don't care. Yeah, but it depends where you are. I needed the money back in the day, so I did it.
See all these catchphrases. I needed the money. Depends where you are in your life. Please aspire to speak like this at some point.
You can take a break from music. You can
just sit back.
No. Don't say that.
You can kick your feet up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess it is definitely what you work towards to get yourself to a place where you're able to do the gigs that you love.
Yeah.
And of course be respected.
Of course.
As an artist. At which point did you start feeling that way? I mean, you won the 1s and 2s competition, and now you're into the competition, and you're in your career now. And when you were traveling around different cities, what were your experiences like when you first started in Joburg versus like Durban and places like that? Were you immediately noticing differences that were helping you grow as a DJ?
I mean, when you play, obviously, like I said, you tell a story. Sometimes you disconnect with the crowd. I mean, you're a DJ, you know. It doesn't always go your way, you know. So I used to get really confused, like, why about I feel?
Yeah.
You understand? So that made me aware that you're as good as your last show, right? You can't keep on doing the same thing over and over. I had this trick where I mixed a few songs and I could get a reaction all the time, and there was a time I did it and it wasn't getting the reaction that I want. So I think from that I realized, growing into the industry, that, you know, as much as you have the fire for it, you need to have the concept for it. You need to decide when to do certain things and when not to do certain things. So I've grown like that as a DJ from back in the day to now.
Yeah, but you know, there's always just like different things that you kind of have to figure out, especially as a DJ, like you're mentioning, because I think a lot of DJs also fall into that sometimes, where you're like, okay, this thing works for me, but now I need to kind of get creative. Do you feel that you also could have possibly fallen into that trap even with making music? Because we're creatures of habit, we're human. Sometimes you'll say, this thing is easy, let me just continue doing this thing because I get the same thing every time.
Yeah, in music as well, it's like that, but it's kind of like different, because in music I'm alone, right, in my little room, and I'm creating this thing. I'm cooking this like food, and then I go and give it to someone else to taste. In the process of making the music, you only considering your feelings. It's very hard to be objective. I can't take myself out of myself and put myself there and speak to myself, do you like the song? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very hard to be objective. The only time you get the surprise of your life is when you put out the music and someone's like, I don't know, this is shit music. Like,
how do you take that?
Now you have to go back, you know? And even if you don't go back, there could be 10% of the people that don't like it and 90% of the people that like it, but you focus on that 10% only because you are trying to improve. It's not that you are focusing on the negative. People think you are like on that 10% because you are petty or whatever. You are trying to improve. You can't win everyone over, but there's room for improvement, and that 10% shows you can improve.
Yeah. But obviously, being on a show like Ones and Twos, I mean, going in, you were already like a music producer. You were already kind of doing your own thing, Free State. But going into a show like that, I think they also try to teach a few artists like certain things or whatever. Is there something that you took away from that entire experience that you don't think you could have gotten on your own? Yeah,
the whole thing of being, how do you say it, presenting yourself in a certain way as a brand. I think even in this room, if we are to look the same, I don't think anyone would be like, someone would be like, okay, this is Miss Cosmo, let's hear how she plays. You play, and then someone that looks exactly like you comes on stage. I don't think we would want to hear that because you look like them. So I tried very hard to look at the difference in people and how they portray themselves. Spare Knaves used to emphasize that a lot when they were judges back in the day. Like, be yourself. The previous contestant or whatever might have had the crowd worked up and busy or whatever the case, but don't try and replicate that. Just be yourself and get a different reaction so that you can sell your product.
And as a purist, as you mentioned before, is it, or maybe in the beginning, because now of course you found some success being yourself, but in the beginning when you speak of yourself as a purist of the music, and all the way down from when you're producing it and the type of sound in house music or dance music that you create, was it hard in the beginning to stick to your guns, or the people trying to sway you and say maybe this might not give you the elevation that you want?
I think I want to say something that people don't agree with. I think in the beginning when you start your career, it's kind of like easy because people are like, people always vouch for the new guy.
Yeah,
like the new guy that's coming, like, oh my God, we are so excited about him. So it kind of makes it easy for you to be yourself, because they don't care who you are. They just want the new guy. They're tired of the old guys, you know. Yeah. So in the beginning, it's easy, and then as you progress, now you have executive producers. I say this all the time when I present a song on social media or a video or whatever, and someone will be like, "Hey, Ishwata." I'm like, when did you start producing? You know, so as you progress, people now have opinions. It's just a lot, you know. But when you're the new guy, it's easy. No one cares. Oh my God, he's so amazing. They don't care about your flaws or whatever. Yeah. They just like the new guy. Yes, and the new guy will always get the attention. And you're always just like, I don't understand what they're doing differently. And now it's also like times have changed in how music is received. Times have changed as to how it's also being put out, how it's being spread out as well. Are you on TikTok? Yeah, I am.
Do you like do
No,
challenges?
I just post music. No, I don't do,
You don't get involved in the challenges.
I thought maybe you're in your studio.
yeah,
with
I'm not even the
with
type to do those things. I
Haven't your kids trying to get you into it? Like,
No,
Papa,
no,
that's
not
something.
really. My son, my oldest son is 14. He doesn't do those things.
Oh, he thinks it's too.
He's very reserved. Very reserved.
No, he doesn't think like it's too
very
cool.
reserved. Yeah, no, he doesn't do.
But that's how
a
you
lot.
become the new guy again. I'm helping you out here. Say,
No,
okay,
man, I think I'll pass on the TikTok. I'm good at the TikTok.
come on, just give us a young dance challenge, Nyana.
Yeah, okay. I'll try.
I'm joking. Some things work for certain people, other things don't work for them, and
Yeah.
it's exactly the same advice that Pen Daves gave you, that just be yourself, because
Yeah.
it's also very evident when people try too hard, when they
Yeah,
try to
ish.
do different things.
Yeah.
But taking in that advice as well, do you think that's also kind of shaped you in the type of sound that you do? Because one thing I've realized is that you don't really deviate to whatever's trending and what's hot right now. You always kind of stick to whatever. Like, I always feel like there's a certain sound that you make that other people don't necessarily make, and you're sticking to your guns. You're not trying to get into piano, you're not trying to jump into Afro-tech or whatever the case may be. Is that specific because you're also trying to stay in your lane?
Specifically for me, music is a feeling, right? So not that I don't like Amapiano. There's a lot of songs that I vibe to, but a feeling towards a song or a liking towards a song versus if you like doing it is two different things. So I might like it, but I don't like doing it. I don't know. I like seeing people run, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to run.
I'm with that.
Yeah, you know, it's very
anti-running.
nice, it looks nice, but I don't run. I don't run. When I get on the treadmill, I just walk. And I've never done running in my life, and I don't like it. It's uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's the same with the feeling of music. It feels good to listen to Amapiano and like whatever these kids are doing, which is a beautiful thing to watch. But I don't think I can make it. So, or any other genre for that matter. So for me, the music that I do is because I like doing it. I feel like I'm on top of the world while making it.
And who are some of these purists that inspired you actually, whether it's right now or back in the day, that you really, when you're saying these are the kind of guys that I'm trying to emulate?
Back in the day, obviously, as a purist, you have got these people that people don't know.
Are we gonna say a few people that I don't know?
Yeah.
Get your hip hop or fucking knife. Keep up, but I'm asking because I know they're listening at home.
Yeah, but just to give everyone some sort of a center point, Don Laka, for me, I used to listen to a lot of jazz.
Right.
So Don Laka for me experience. This is what I've experienced and how I got inspired to produce songs like Better Days. It was revived from a jazz song. So
I love that song. Yo.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. So it depends on where I am, of course, mentally. If I'm listening to something that's more vibey, of course, when I get in studio, and try and kick whatever as hard as I can on the drum lines or whatever the case. But if I'm feeling mellow and I'm listening to some R&B, of course I'm going to be mellow in the music.
Okay. So, let's take it to some of your biggest hits. As you're mentioning, obviously, there's Better Days. Charlotte was one of the biggest songs that you. Is that the song that you think kind of catapulted you into the music industry? What was the change and what was the inspiration behind that specific song?
Charlotte, actually, when you are in the music and you are like very connected to your craft, there isn't much inspiration or a story to tell. Things just happen. You know, when you're really connected with what you're doing and you're ambitious about it. So I was in studio. I just connected with that song, you know, and I sent it to Lady Zama. I remember we had a trip to Durban. We were going to Afrotainment with Zama, and we were trying to do a remix of Dira's Durban's Finest album or whatever the case. And on the way there, I played her Charlotte. She's like, "Oh, this sounds nice, but let's do Dira's thing." And then we traveled from Durban. We went to Bloem. That's when I was still in Bloem. And we recorded Charlotte, and then she left the next day. There isn't really like a very heartfelt story behind it. Oh my God, I was going through this, that. No, I was really like in touch with my music, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. So, do you write music at all?
No, I don't. I don't write.
Okay, well, I mean, some people have the skill.
And how are you with the collaborations? Like, is it one of those situations where people approach you sometimes? Because I know you like to use a lot of vocalists in your music. Do you ever because half the time I'm guessing you do a lot of producing, so you're thinking, I know who I need on this track. I know how I want this track to go. But are you ever? Does the reverse ever happen for you? Or somebody's like, I think you and I have a vibe, and I think we should get into studio, and then that happens.
It hardly ever happens because what's born first is the music. Like, so I would do the music, and then I'll imagine Ms. Cosmo on it there. Like, just making an example. And then I'm like, okay, she would fit, and then I'll give you.
I'll shock you one day, yes.
Actually, come to studio. Let's see. So that's what I do. Like, I make the music first, and then I imagine whoever at the time, and then I give you a call if you're keen. Of course,
there's one thing I remember when you dropped Club Controller. I think it was like we were deep into December. When it's so dark in the December where you're just like, I'm not getting out of this hole. I'm staying here until I'm broke in January. And when you dropped it at that point, a lot of DJs were the ones complaining, not necessarily the fans, but a lot of DJs were complaining like, why did you drop it now? Because now it's not going to live as long as it needs to live. Maybe it's too late in the year. Do you believe in a certain time on when you need to drop a song, or do you think the music will just speak for itself?
That was premature, actually. You're right, because the song leaked. And,
didn't you leak it?
No, I didn't.
Who leaked it?
So we're working with the boys. Like, so when we produce music and we do it virtually, I send you a beat, whatever, you send it back, I send it to you, So during that time, someone did something. That's not me.
Okay.
That's not me. I wouldn't do that because I'm a businessman at the end of it. I would want to make money out of the song.
Yeah.
So it leaked and it was a good December for everyone, but we were not earning. So that was not okay. But we tried to catch up, did some vocals, put it on radio. But it was a bit late, man, around Feb. Yeah. And then we dropped the ones with the vocals, dropped the video. Everything was just premature. Like, let's do this now so that we can make money. And also, back in the day, songs used to last longer.
Yes.
So we were fortunate enough, I would say, the last piece of the pie, we could get it there around March when some people release. I remember the next year, it was that King Monada era where people were doing Idibala and stuff. So before that time, the commotion, we managed to make some money out of the song.
And do you have other songs exactly like that, but that you personally thought, obviously didn't get it? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure sometimes you say it, you're like, I know people are gonna, especially as the career progresses, you can kind of tell where your fans are gonna sway to, and which songs on the album they're gonna easily gravitate to. But are you songs that you look back and you're disappointed on? I get that you guys vibe to that, but there was another jam on there that didn't get the hype that you thought it should have gotten.
There's a disconnect between artists and fans because certain things in the album you like, the fans don't like, and they're very harsh. Fans are very harsh nowadays. They'll tell you, right?
Take it out.
Yeah, they will tell you if something is not nice.
But hey, fuck, take the song out.
So that disconnect is kind of like, it's a setback if you take it very personal. Like me, I take it very personal when someone doesn't like what I've spent so much time doing, I don't know. You just have to get over it somehow. But I tend to take longer. One song that I leaked on purpose is Banomoya, only because we were running out of time. It was 3 months before December, and everyone at Universal was like, "No, let's wait. I'm like, wait for what?" And then the next day, I leaked the song, and they asked me. I was like, "I don't know."
Oh, you said it just got out. Sorry, guys.
And it was everywhere, and then they were very they rushed to release it, which is what I wanted, and it worked. Yeah.
There's also like a chat and a conversation around Guguletu about who actually owned the song, whose idea was it. What's the actual story behind that? Because obviously people hear different versions, but they don't necessarily know. Well, I haven't heard your side of the story, but obviously people will say, okay, this is Sapta's side of the story and so forth.
So Guguletu is a song that was out for 2 years before I heard it.
Okay.
It was out for 2 years before I heard it. It was on YouTube. I remember I was on a flight from Durban to here. So on the flight, I'm going through my WhatsApp and I had Joburg Day, 947 Joburg Day, the show. The show performing. So on my way, like I needed something to play. First half of my set was concluded, but I felt because it's Joburg Day, it's a big show, you can't really be intimate. You must hit your whole hour. You must go crazy. And I only had the climax for for 30 minutes.
Those shows are so hard where people are just looking at you.
You really need
and you
to
must rock
perform.
for an hour.
Yeah, you must rock.
Yo.
Must not play as new stuff. Yeah, you must rock. We want familiarity. So I had that and I was on my way and I scrolled through my WhatsApp with Sapta because we always share music.
Yeah.
In fact, this person sent me this song to listen to it. I think a year before that. This was when I used to back up my WhatsApp stuff, and I went there and I listened to the song. I'm like, is this thing out? He's like, yeah, it's out. It's been out for like over 2 years now. I'm like, huh? No money. You didn't make anything out of this thing. He's like, no, I didn't. But I'm like, okay, cool. We need to change a few things. First of all, we need to change the key of the song. Secondly, we need to add more emphasis on. There's a part in the song where it plays chords, but you can't really hear it, right? And we needed to emphasize that. We need to emphasize the, how am I want to say it? So there's frequencies in music, right? The low end frequency of the song was very weak. It didn't really like move me the way I wanted, but you can hear the potential of the song. I changed that as well. And now the final thing, we needed vocals so that people can relate to the song. And I was like, okay, I can put Indlovukazi on the song and I can get her to do it. And then Sabda agreed. And then I got the song. Got the separates, literally redid the song.
Okay.
Yeah, literally took out everything. Like I went straight to where I saw the problem is and I worked it from there.
So then why was the hoo-ha around?
No, the thing is...
Hey, this is our song is mine. Hey, Prince Kaybee left me off. Hey, want to... There's always drama.
The thing about music is that there's producers and then there's beat makers.
Okay.
The producer is the guy that's where your money is. Let me call it that. The beat maker is just there as a purist. They don't care where the song goes or how it goes. They just want it the way it is. And I've seen a lot of vocalists where we are in the same room and there's people who know how to write, but they don't know. The literature is kind of weak, but the writer has got a range of vocabulary, but they want to express that, but this one that knows where the money is like, okay, we hear your story, but this is where your money is. Put this thing like this, like that. So we've got those kind of people, and then we've got producers, of which I am. I'm more of a producer than a beat maker. I know how to make the song sell. So we took that. I mean, it says itself. The song has been out for 2 years and nothing happened. Yeah. Something needed to change, and we changed that. And I mean, I don't know how many endorsements we got with that song. Like so many.
Squeeze me.
So it worked.
And now I'm speaking on labels, and that you had problems with them in the past. Releasing music, and labels can do that. They can be very slow, and you can join them for a variety of reasons that work for you, whether it's distribution or whatnot. Is that the reason? What was the reason why you chose to now? You know what? Let me actually leave this label after a while now, and go, because you're currently independent.
Yeah, I'm currently independent, and it goes back to that thing. The new guy will always excite people. The new guy also excites labels. So
they put all their focus on one person.
So like when I started seeing budgets drop, like you have a budget to conclude an album and so forth. When I saw that drop, and I saw other budgets going somewhere, I was like, okay, there's a change. I'm no longer that guy. So I was like, okay, since I've served my purpose here, let me go try and do it on my own. And they didn't even fight. They fought.
You sound so sad.
No. They fought for a long time when I wanted to leave after releasing Fetch Your Life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to leave then, and then I want to milk you.
Yeah.
I understand, so.
But that was a big song. So to be fair, you can't drop a song like that and say, okay, bye.
Yeah. So Sipo and I used to be our leader back at Universal before he resigned. Him and I have got a personal relationship with other stuff besides the music. And he used to listen to what I say when he was there. And then when he resigned, I was like, that's one of the reasons I left. When he resigned, I was like, no one is going to listen to what I have to say.
Yeah.
And nowadays labels are so pathetic. They don't even know where you live. They don't know what color is your speakers, what you did, where or how you do things. And I feel like labels should be that involved. They should come to your house and see what you're doing, why are you doing this thing, and always constantly check up on you. But they just want the music. They're just like, and then you send them. They don't care how it was done or where, with who. So the creation part of music leading up to the release, the labels nowadays, they don't get involved. They just want the end product.
Yeah.
And then you release. They are not interested in in your build up, or how to have to be included in the product.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that really like puts a negative hold on the relationship between you and the label.
Would you go into managing artists and opening a label? And
I wouldn't, but I have an idea of how it should for the artist to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, when I've been a label baby for 7 years, and there's a reason why I've been there. The management before at Universal used to care. Would say, okay, Kabelo Dula guy, so when can we fly up? I want to listen. Let's do A&R. Let's do this. They were very involved. But nowadays they're not. They just want you to send them the song and then they
just
release
pushing
the next
the music.
Day. Yeah, literally you send the song today, it's released the next day. There's no like, yo man, let's see what's happening here.
Okay, what do you want them to do? But a massage?
No, of course I would like that. No problem.
So you then say, Oguti, you're not completely closed off to labels, or you're gonna see how this?
No,
run?
I'm closed off. Like I've seen how. Obviously, you look back. You like, if I was alone, I would have made this much.
We start counting the money. This is the problem with artists, and then they say, "Yeah, I'm leaving. Hey, I'm a broke artist."
But that's not why I left. I'm just saying now. When you look back, should someone come to me and say, "I'm signing you," I'm like, no. I'll be like, I'm sorry.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I mean, we get that because I think some artists do also understand the necessity of a label and how they can take you to a certain level. And then at some point you reach that point and then you're like, okay, my time here is done. I need to kind of move on.
Yeah.
From your catalog, which would you say is one of your actual ultimate favorite song? Because I see you've tattooed some of your songs.
For me, Fetch Your Life is an amazing, deep song for me. I think when I did the song, it was after all the commotion. When you are a new artist, you have all these hits and people are just waiting for that moment when it's quiet to then ask you what's next. So what is he going to do now? And I was very insecure in that period because I didn't know where I was going as an artist or what to produce next. And I just did Fetch Your Life, and it really took a lot out of me because I was quiet for a good 2 years. Back in the day, I used to like drop hit after hit every year, and then after Charlotte, I just went quiet, and it was a very difficult time for me to understand as an artist, because you look at your bills, you look at how your previous lifestyle was versus now when the money's not really coming in the way you want it to, and you start getting nervous and so forth, and that's when Fetch Your Life came. The Google Twos, the Banomoyas, and so forth. So it's deep because I was in a corner. Yeah, I needed to pay rent.
Yes,
I was like, hey, I need to do this, and it happened.
And I mean, Fetch Your Life you've named an entire movement, not even a movement, as a charity.
Yeah.
After Fetch Your Life, what are you involved in with this charity?
I've got an academy called Fetch Your Life Academy. We do a lot of charity stuff. Our main focus though is mental health amongst boys. I'm sorry.
No, but you know what? I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because there's this stigma in South Africa that men can't speak about their feelings. So I applaud you for putting that emphasis on it, because I do think men need to find the confidence to be able to speak about it. I mean, there's I know like plenty of my friends, female friends, who are very open about the fact that they go to therapy because they understand that therapy is not about I'm going there because I need to be better. But the men are the ones who are like, I just need a beer and I'll forget.
And tomorrow morning they hang themselves.
Do you know what I mean?
So that's where we're focusing. We don't really do like schools because schools are very mixed. We set up camp somewhere and then we invite the boys. They come in, we speak to them. And one thing about this experience is that everyone has a common problem. It's fatherless people. It's boys that get raped, but they don't really say anything about it, molestation and so forth. So it's a very big issue to deal with, but with the little that we have as Fetch Your Life Academy, we're trying to get to where the core problem is and fix it from there.
Why was it so important for you to get into this specific space? Because you could have chosen any other charity. You could have given food, clothes, whatever the case may be. So I've gone through a lot in my life growing up as a boy.
right? Things as a boy, there's a lot of things you can't comprehend when they're happening to you. It could be anything. I don't think you have the capacity to stand on your own and say something and then it works out. You're always scared. If I say this, if I do that, of course, depending on who's your guardian at the time. So I've gone through stuff, and I look back now and I look at my child, and I'm like, I don't want this for my child. And if I start this movement for other kids as well, they can be able to move away from how I grew up, and I know there's a lot of people that share the same story, so I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So it's because it's personal to me. That's basically what I'm saying.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and I think it definitely will kind of transcend, and it will help kind of breeding like stronger willed men in South Africa, because that I think is a big issue, especially with the problem that we have with GBV and so forth. So it kind of starts at a young age, and if you deal with it early, it won't manifest into something a little bit later. So shout outs for that one.
Thank you.
Going back to the social media aspect of things, and how you kind of engage, I think a lot of people also know that just because you're on social media, yes, you want to push your music, but you also get yourself involved. As you mentioned, you're always the kind of defending your friends, but you also find yourself in unnecessary beefs.
I knew you were gonna ask me that.
I have to ask you. How can I not ask you? And obviously you had a really great friendship with Keenan. So we know where you kind of stood on that side of the beef. My question is, why are you not getting in the ring?
No, man. I don't think
no.
I don't think that's how to deal with it. But if there was a good number, I would get in the ring. It's not a good number. Cassper's team sent like an email to my team saying, I think they said something like 500,000. I'm like, I'm not gonna get in the ring for 500,000.
Nah.
So for me, that's not really a thing. And I just want to say, I don't take the beef between me and Cassper personal. It's not personal. It's all jokes.
Yeah.
I remember I once met him at an airport. And I laughed the whole time. And he was serious. So for me, it's
so he avoided you when he saw you.
Yeah. So I don't really take it that serious. Even when we go to the ring and go, I'm not gonna really take it that serious. But if we are going to do it, let's do it the proper way. Give me what I want, and then
I get
all right. We're gonna hear right here on the Pop Radio for the first time. Prince Kaybee, what's your price?
My price.
What's your in the ring price?
For me to get out of my house, 2.5 is fine.
All right, there they have it now. So doesn't say he doesn't want. If you don't have 2.5, don't call this man.
Don't call this man, please. And don't come with your fake POPs. We don't want problems. No more low chima. As for my problems, please.
Because also it takes a lot to prepare for a fight.
It does.
It takes
I'm surprised people are out here just taking these fights.
And getting knocked out.
Bro, even Cassper, who trains himself, you can see this thing is difficult. People take boxing, they think we're gonna get in the field and then I'm gonna go home.
I watched the Big Zulu fight. They were tired in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It takes a lot to prepare. I'm putting the hypothetical. I'm not saying 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But it didn't take them long to get tired.
Yeah. I mean, I remember even speaking to Pretty Ugly when he was preparing for the fight just before it, and you could see like he's got cuts and bruises because he's literally preparing his face for taking the jabs. So you have to prepare yourself by somebody else smacking you so that you can go in and get smacked by the actual person. It's a lot.
Yeah. And
so the preparation is not easy.
That's why I tell people, that's where Casper's confidence comes from with these fights. Because he knows how difficult it is.
He's prepared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's prepared, and even if he's not training right now, he knows how to click back into that thing if somebody challenges him to a fight. So he knows anybody who's going to, unless they're into boxing, that there's a very good chance that he can go a very long time with somebody, even if it's somebody who's a little bit bigger than him or whatever. He's just saying, if this guy has no boxing experience, he's gonna get shocked when he gets into the ring.
And when it comes to when it comes to fights, I always tell people all the time, I would say, when you see a fight, don't stop those people. They're not gonna last a minute. When you see
Just
people fight,
them.
let them fight.
Oh,
Trust me.
don't be the hero.
Don't stop it, because it takes a lot to fight.
It's very tiring.
It takes a lot. It's very tiring. I've been in so many fights, and when people stop me, I'm like, yes.
Thank you, actually.
Thank you, because I'm not about to, be tired from fighting. So when you see a fight, let these people, whether it's at the mall or whatever, let these people fight.
We had the
let
same.
them have it.
we had the same motto when I was in boarding school. My boarding master, when I got there, every grade 8, they told you, they tell us the same thing. Here, we don't endorse violence. You know what I'm saying? The boys are not here to fight, here to teach you how to talk.
Respect.
You know what I'm saying? And respect. But should you forget everything that I've just said now, and you choose to fight, we're going to open a circle for you, and then you fight. Number one rule, we don't stop fights in the boarding house. So if the boys are starting, everybody steps back.
And you'll never fight.
We open a nice circle for them, and then everybody watches them with their hands behind their back. And let me tell you something. I don't think I've ever seen a single fight last 1 minute.
Thank you.
Really?
Even the most aggro guys, hey, let's get it. 30 seconds
50
later,
seconds,
finished.
gone. It's finished.
One guy will just get up and be like, I wasn't prepared for this.
Fighting
if you sit back and you watch, let two grown men fight, the only time that people will stop fights is if like it's a big guy, like a guy maybe matric bullying a little kid. Then people is like, come on.
It's
but
unfair.
usually it's those people that in the same grade. You know what I'm saying? That's usually who you talk to every day anyway. So in that situation, it was like, no, open the circle. That was the number one. Let's say if you try and stop the fight, you're the person who's gonna get in trouble.
Oh wow!
And the fight ends and stops there. There's no report. There's
That's
nothing.
an amazing rule. I love it.
Yeah,
I love
well, I mean, it makes sense, especially in the space that you're talking about, because you rather just respect each other. But if you don't want to listen, that's your prerogative. Okay, so you're working on your music now, and you've got an album that's going to be, well, by the time this comes out, the album would have dropped. Just tell us a little bit about the concept of the album and where your space is with regards to the sound. Are you sticking to your typical sound, or are you trying new things? Are you working with new people?
Yes, I always try my level best to work with new people. There's new talent on the album. The space that I'm in, I'm kind of like at a point where I design songs. Like I don't really just get in studio and just do music. I want to understand where I want the song to go, who I want on the song, how I want it to sound after a certain time, because songs change up. Like the songs that I hear, this is a hit, but it's going to last a certain time. But there's hits that last longer. So you kind of make songs according to those kind of regulations.
How do you differentiate with that now? Because like you're mentioning, back in the time when for instance Club Controller and Charlotte came out, the song would last close to like a year on rotation. But now songs are only lasting a couple of weeks, a month, and over.
Yeah. So with that, I'm basing this on my previous stardom when I was.
When you were hot
back in the day.
Yeah. Are you not hot anymore?
No, I'm still hot, but it's a different hot. So a typical radio song, I mean, you can tell this is a radio song. This person wants to trend on radio. This is poppy, this is popular, and it's not going to last that long. But if you have had so much invested in the song, and there's a lot of meaning behind the song, the writing, and there's a bit of commercial aspect of it, but holistically the song means something, it's going to last longer. That's what I base it on. So in my life right now, I kind of like want more I don't want that instant gratification, like you need to catch on now and then the song needs to make me feel good now and then I'm done. I want the song to live with you, and you don't really have to dance or whatever. I want you to be background music. Like right now, I'm making background music. I'm making songs that can live with you. A go-to song when you're feeling some type of way, or whatever the case, or when you're with your person. Let's play Prince Kaybee in the back.
Okay,
that's pretty dope. Yeah,
that's dope. I like that. I like that. And some of the features as well. Wow, which are one of your favorite features on the album? Because I saw there's Robot Boy. I love Azana, by the way. So I love that you've got her on.
We're trying to be fun with Robot Boy. That's the typical one that I'm talking about. That I think will not last. That no malice to Robot Boy, whatever the case. I know this is gonna sound like I'm trying to give him a cheap song, whatever. But that's the person he is. He's very like familiar with the TikTok vibe. So you need to make a song that will allow that personality to live. So we went a bit fun on that. But the rest of the album, I mean, it's more like heartfelt and very, it will live longer.
And now that you're releasing music for the first time, not for the first time alone under a label, but maybe in 7 years rather. How do you plan to market and tour it on your own? Have you come up with the whole plan of how you want to do it, or are you going to put the album out and see where it kind of takes you?
Yeah, I'm currently under new management, so I trust the guys. I've seen their plans about me. A management is not a label. Those are two different things.
Yes, of course.
Management is people that obviously take a cut from whatever revenue you make as a result of what they promise on paper. So what they have on paper looks good. I like what the vision. I like how they understand the artist that I am right now. So I'm very excited about that. I can't reveal, of course,
but there is a plan to do
it. Yeah,
but
there's a plan, a very beautiful one.
That's dope. Yeah. That's really dope. Any takeaways or lessons that you've kind of learned from when you first started out to the kind of direction you're taking with yourself now? Was there any like one thing where you're like, yeah, nah, you see there, I really learned my lesson, but it's also kind of helping you grow as a person?
The whole thing of, like we said, social media, the talkbacks, and getting involved in things that don't really concern you, for me has been an eye opener. I mean, you take it in real life. In real life, you can't really like replicate what you do on Twitter in real life, because in real life, if I say footek to you, you can do something back. On Twitter, I can say footek. You can just
that's why you're a troll. Okay.
No, not that I'm saying I'm a troll, but I've seen how people disrespect me because there's no repercussions.
Okay.
Yeah. So in real life, I try to replicate that. Would I do this in real life, or would someone do this back to me in real life? And I figured no. So I just want to be real right now and live my life according to what's happening. Yeah.
That's really dope, man.
Talk to us about I know you're involved with wine.
Yeah.
As well. And I love my wine as well. How did you?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love my wine.
Wine. What
really?
kind of wine?
I mean, I love red wine mostly.
Red,
you know what I'm saying? A nice Pinot, young Shiraz or something like that.
Yes.
But yeah. I love
the connoisseur?
I love my... If I had a glass right now talking to you, I'd be like, so Prince Kaybee, tell us about your journey.
We could have come with it, actually.
You actually should have brought it.
Yeah,
tell us about your journey. And I would be smelling it and telling you, I'm man. And
I'll take that. I mean, you're entitled to.
Nah, I'm just joking. But how did you get into this wine industry? Because it's a very, it doesn't have a lot of black people involved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's expensive.
And it's very expensive to produce and all that. So what was your interest behind it? And how's that going?
There's a friend of mine, his name is Diego, an Italian guy. We both we met in the trucking business. He owns a truck stop somewhere where I park my trucks, and he also owns what's this? I think it's called Red Star. It's a track, a car track, like Formula One or whatever, GT3 cars, whatever, bikes as well. It's in Delmas. So I went there to Delmas one day and I got on track, and Kanti, the owner, is a fan, which is Diego. So we met with Diego, we spoke. They own a farm in Cape Town, Stellenbosch. The name of the farm is Tubach, where my wine is produced. He told me about it. He's like, no, I can sell you a steak. Bought the steak, and that's it.
So.
And how's that going?
I like a lot of money coming in, right?
Yeah.
I was about to ask.
For me, it's coming in very slow.
Okay.
So for me, I don't like that. That's why I'm not into property. Like property for me, I've been in it, I've done it. It's very small money, but it makes sense after a long time.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'm not that guy. So
I like
small
money
margins. Now. I want money now.
Yeah.
So that's why I got out of property and whatever. And wine is the same thing. It needs patience. You must build it properly.
I was actually about to ask, because sometimes certain spaces need you to be passionate for you to be able to hold on.
Of course.
And I was gonna ask if you're really that passionate about wine for you to, get into a space like this. Because I understand from a business investment, long term, sure, but right now.
Yeah, long term, sure. It was motivated also by like the people in your life when you're not there.
Yeah.
What can they do, to try and learn business and so forth. So that for me was one of the main focuses. But personally, I don't like the way it's moving in terms of the money. Yeah. I just don't like it. It's very uncomfortable. Even when we do our accounts, my accountant is like, hey, this thing, it's it's just that thing, Yeah.
But have you put it on then? Sorry, I'm literally speaking.
No, continue.
So have you put it on then as like you're saying about patience? So let this be something of a legacy that maybe in the future I'll look back and say I'm glad I was patient instead of being impatient.
Also,
about
it's
it right
named
now.
after my son, so maybe when he's older, he takes it on and he will know what to do with it.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, even speaking about your son and speaking about you kind of changing your ways and your the way you kind of what's the word I don't know, operate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you obviously have to think long term about certain things and the way that you operate your businesses and yourself as well. Where do you kind of see yourself? Because I know music will always be a passionate point for you, but where do you see yourself and the way that you're managing yourself in the next couple of years, maybe say 5 years, because it won't be the same as what it is now?
Yeah, I think my proclivity in the future as a father, someone's husband, someone's son, or whatever the case, will be very different to what you see now, because I'm passionately an introvert. Like, I don't like a lot of moving parts in my life. So as soon as I'm comfortable enough to afford that life, I'm under the radar completely, you know. I'm somewhere in my gate, at a house in my gate where there's no one. I don't wear like tight clothes. I just want to be free.
And I wear loungewear all the time.
Tight
Loungewear. You know, tight clothes, skinny jeans, you go into a show trying to play or whatever the case. So I'm not about that life.
That's my new vision. That's my new vision in life.
Clothes.
To not wear tight clothes.
I don't wear tight clothes.
But then
I feel like it's a
fella.
privilege. It's a privilege to be yourself. So we need like very loose.
Loose fitting clothes is for people with money. So the tighter the jeans, hey, I don't.
Maybe
you're a hard work.
Maybe that's what you should do. You should get into like clothing with
The tighter the jeans, the harder the work. And then up to the bar too. If it's in the kick and boboza, we are spanning.
Skinny jeans are tricky there by you.
I'm just basically saying comfort is expensive.
Maybe you need to get into like a clothing line for people who can just go and live in markets and wear loose clothes. Maybe you don't even need to wear underwear. You'll just be fine. I don't know.
No, but he's right. When you look at those lines, I mean, look at the type of clothes like the Kardashians make.
Yeah.
They just make tights.
Yeah.
You know, and they make billions. And somebody tights, man. I build tights every day.
And it's commercial consumption.
You know what I mean?
And it's so comfortable. I wouldn't lie to you.
And all the girlies want to wear tights every day.
Yeah,
it's like
comfort. Yeah.
Have you earned this comfort?
Wow, yeah.
Oh, goodness. That's amazing. All right. So anything we can look forward to outside of the album? Is there a tour coming? Is there a show coming together?
Yeah. So the main objective also is to try and set a footprint outside of South Africa. So the guys are working very hard to get us a tour going. You know, obviously when you're a new artist somewhere else, you're literally just that, a new artist. You don't have like ridiculous demands. You know, if someone says, I'll only pay for your flights, you do that. Or I'll only pay for your accommodation. So some of the costs you need to incur. But it looks good. I'm very excited. It reminds me of when I started. So that phase where you are trying to build a house and you imagine the house, but you don't have it yet, but you're imagining it, and that keeps you going. It's a very exciting time.
That's so dope, man.
That's beautiful, man.
All right, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Prince Kaybee.
Shout out.
Shout outs. Thank
Don't
you
be
so
a stranger.
much.
You must bring shows, ne?
Wow.
You last booked me there by that. Where were we?
No, it was a private part. I booked him for Sweet 16. Ne?
Sweet 16.
I booked this guy
So
for...
dope. So much money.
I know it was a lot of money. I would lie.
So
So do you know what it was? Let me explain. So it was my old boss when I used to work at EBSA. Ne?
Okay.
So he's now he's into investments and you know that vibe. So he's got his own business, but he's like, no, my daughter's turning 16. We need to shoot the lights out on this one. I want everybody. Line up Prince Kaybee, Shimza, Mapurisa, Kabza, Cassper even performed. I said,
Yes,
this
heavy,
lineup and
heavy hitters.
and everybody came with their full fee. January.
Oh my
This guy was smiling. You know, January is a very tough. It's a very tough month. That one. This one's smiling. He didn't even care. He was just like, "What time am I playing? I'll be there."
when is the next one? Actually,
And then you could see how bored
Where's
he
the
was.
21st from that 16th?
yeah, no, call that
where's the
kid.
30th?
We want.
He was. So, you could see he was just like, keep on never. Now it was the same time when there was a Formula One was also playing.
Yeah.
This guy comes with his phone. And he's busy mixing, but he's got his phone there with his like a race track.
I was watching the race.
Yes, he's busy watching. I was like, I didn't pay you to be watching your phone the whole time.
No, but there was a bit of
interact with the children.
There's a bit of disappointment because I thought I was coming to like a
I told you.
Depending on maybe I was kind of naive at the time, but getting there, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I won't like Kamsa felt the same way.
Yeah.
Kamsa was so mad. He was just like, get sweet 16. He was so angry. He actually video called Thuli.
Really?
He was like, yeah, I got you go and on more. You're going to experience this with me. He video called Thuli, put his phone there, and he was like, I'm gonna play for you here because those kids were just obviously
because you must play top 40 there.
Yes,
you
and
know,
he
for the kids, absolutely.
Yeah, top 40 boss.
And you know, Kamsa's not the guy.
For what? They don't care.
They just wanted the hits the whole time.
Of course.
But I mean, come on, it was a dope gig.
Yeah, it was a dope gig.
But I'm guessing the booking fee has gone up since then.
Yeah.
You just send Cosmo a new...
it's double that, by the way.
A new invoice.
Please. I'm not in the game. I was helping out my manager, okay? Give me a chance.
Call him again. No, it doesn't hurt.
Oh, goodness. All right. So we'll be watching, I guess. We'll be supporting.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the album, it's going to, hopefully it's going to give us more hits because we know you as the hit machine. We'll be supporting you, taking your music to the rest of the world.
Yes, sir.
And of course, like I said, give us a show, give us something,
Yeah, of course.
a tour in South Africa so that your die-hard fans can be there as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's my first time here, but it was so nice. On my way here, I was thinking controversy, but
no.
That's pretty
We
cool.
don't do that.
That's pretty
We're
cool,
here
yeah.
to shine a light on you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank
Just
you,
to remind you that you're hot, Just in case you forgot.
Still hot.
Still hot.
Fantastic, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the contizzle, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Be nice.
Hey.